Hello and welcome to another video by Sigbrand. Today I'm going to be analyzing Bioshock Infinite's ending. Just a forewarning, I'm not going to search around for all these video clips because I'll reference them and they're scattered across YouTube as it is. It's just going to be a pain for me to track them down and throw them into my video myself. And my understanding of the ending is probably a bit more far-fetched than others, but it's the way I saw it and I find it a very interesting theory. So here goes. To analyze Bioshock Infinite's ending, we have to cite one short clip that many players may have skipped. The epilogue played at the end of the credits. As you can see, Booker cannot have died in the final scene before the credits, wiping away all existence of himself and Comstock, because he awakes in his office once again on October 8th, the day he sold Anna. For reference, review the scene in the beginning before Booker enters Columbia, where he's baptized. The priest shoves Booker under again until he looks as if he'll drown, only for him to wake up in his office. It is a dream, of course, but then we find him to awake afterwards, fully alive, in Columbia. This is indicative of the cyclic nature of events, which I'll explain further herein. It's my theory that his baptism, years ago, before the birth of Anna, was not a point of choice, which spawned two different major variations of reality, Comstock and Booker, but rather a fixed point where he always denies the baptism, and that the existence of Comstock and Booker happen within the same universe, but at different points in the timeline. The cycle is complicated yet rather simple. Booker goes to war and returns with his guilt. He goes to the baptism we see after the Battle of Wounded Knee, but he cannot go through with it, so he goes on to have a child, Anna, and amass a large gambling debt due to his guilt with what he has done. Here's where things get complicated. Booker is approached by Robert Latouche, who offers to absolve him of his debt in exchange for his child, Anna, bring us the girl, and wipe away the debt. He goes through with this, but as we see in the ending sequence, immediately regrets it, and tries to stop Comstock and Latouche from carrying Anna through the tear into Comstock's timeline, but fails. He then falls into depression for almost 20 years before he is approached again by the Latouches for a chance to redeem himself to get Anna back. They pulled him through a tear into Comstock's timeline and he loses part of his memory. His mind makes up things to fill the gaps. He only remembers bring us the girl and wipe away the debt, the phrase from before, and assumes that the Latouches will wipe away the debt if he brings Elizabeth, Anna, to them. Cue the events of Bioshock Infinite and we come back to the end right before the credits. Here, the Annas baptize him, the girls wipe away the debt. From this point, I theorize, after accepting the baptism, is where he becomes Comstock. He takes control of the floating city of Columbia, meets the Latouches, spends time with the machine, remembering bits and parts of his time as Booker, assisted by the glimpses of the past and the future he sees through the Latouches machine. His time as a prophet, using the Latouches machine, leaves him sterile, but he knows that his past self, Booker, has a child, and he returns to Booker's timeline to retrieve the girl. Her exposure to the machine changes her, and she's able to open tears without the machine's help. Comstock fears that this will cause her to find the truth and escape, so he builds a monument island to contain her, to keep his secret and retains his power. He prepares the city on the arrival of the false prophet. Cue Booker's return. Booker goes on to kill Comstock, his future self, and the cycle continues, as Booker goes on to become Comstock. This is a loop, and it happens an infinite number of times per universe in an infinite number of universes, all similar but slightly different. Your playthrough of Bioshock Infinite is just a single iteration of the Booker-Comstock loop in a single universe. Why do you ask what, when the delicious question is when? Lives, lived, will live. Dies, died, will die. The Latouches. To defend this point of view, the first thing I feel it's important to explain is that each universe or version of reality is fixed. No matter how many times Booker runs through the cycle, he'll always make the same decisions, and events based on chance are fixed to one outcome per universe. The Latouches' establishment of the existence of this phenomena, as well as the existence of the loop in the beginning of the game, is with the coin flip. They meet you before the raffle and ask you to call a coin flip. No matter what, the coin always falls on heads, as you can see from the chalkboard Robert's wearing. The Latouches wait for Booker every time he iterates the loop and record the data. This coin flip is a fixed chance, which will always happen the same every time the loop is repeated in this universe. The Latouches also establish that choices are fixed over iterations when they ask Booker and Anna which brooch they would prefer, and Robert remarks that he knew what choice you would make. because they check this over every iteration of the loop. Besides the actions are fixed in each universe, there's also points which are fixed across all universes. There's always a man, a lighthouse, and a city, as told by Anna. Booker's baby is always given to Comstock, again as noted by Anna, that Booker cannot leave the room until he gives the baby to Robert. Songbird will always stop Booker, as again noted by future Anna, when she gives you the note for young Anna. The points cannot be altered in any way from jumping between any universes. They are fixed. In every universe, these events have to happen. For this universe, there's also several what I call partner universes, or other universes that have to happen exactly as they do, which overlap with your universe, because the tears you and Anna open have to exist in this universe for every iteration. These three universes are the universe where the weaponsmith is alive, the universe where the weapons are not taken, and the universe where Anna becomes Comstock's heir, from which she gives you the note. As a divergence, these three partner universes also reveal an interesting fact about Anna's powers, that as long as the siphon is intact, she'll only have the ability to pull other universes' realities into her own, rather than to enter them herself. You can see this as you pull items into combat, and she pulls other items like trains, etc., through the tears to slow Booker down while he's chasing her, and when she brings tornadoes through to stop the surgery, and when future Anna brings you through the tear into her world where the siphon still exists, rather than coming into Booker's. This must apply to the gunsmith incidents as well, because she didn't encounter a second Anna when opening those tears, but rather just brought another reality's truths into hers. There are several other pieces of evidence that point to a time travel-induced loop, rather than a trans-dimensional human trafficking plot. Booker and Comstock show a major similarity that could have carried over through his later baptism, that he is afraid of Anna. As she asks Booker, "Are you afraid of God?" and he responds, "No, but I'm afraid of you." This fear is a very plausible explanation of why Comstock locked her away into her tower, to limit her powers so she did not use them to rebel because of the havoc she could wreak. The Letusas are also always disregarding other words. Who, what, where, why, for when. The Letusas are powerful story agents who seem to be able to exist, keep their memories, and travel in and out of time and dimensions and their loops, and for this reason I very strongly believe that their emphasis on when is a clue to both Booker and the player that this plot is driven by time travel rather than the Booker and Comstock existing in two different dimensions. As another aside, there seems to be a major difference in Anna's abilities to open tears and the Letusas in the machine. While most beings seem to merge with their counterparts from other dimensions when Anna pulls two realities together, the Letusas seem to be able to transport themselves, Comstock and Booker, without this happening, because Booker and Comstock, though the same person, are able to exist simultaneously without merging into the same person, though it does cause destabilization on Booker's half. Of course, Anna is also able to walk freely between worlds without merging with other Annas, but I suppose this can be attributed to her destruction of the siphon, because prior to then, we do not ever see two Annas existing in the same universe. Though, if she does merge with others, we not ever see the destabilization effects, such as the nosebleeds. She seems to be immune to those. And just to note, these effects appear to be much stronger when one version of a person is dead and the other living, a sort of Schrodinger's cat-like paradoxical existence. More evidence of the loop can be found in the ending sequences, where Anna takes Booker around to the beginning of the loop of the lighthouses several times. Another piece of evidence is a remark that the Letusas make after pulling Booker through the tear into Comstock's timeline, that he's their hair shirt and his mark on his hand is his, meaning they're responsible for him permanently, as the loop manifests itself infinitely. I think one of the strongest pieces of evidence, however, that the last scene is not Booker's death, nor does it rid the world of Comstock, is when he comments on where they are and Anna replies, "This isn't the same place." Anna does not take him back to the baptism he ran away from before. The other participants are missing and only the priest remains, along with the different Annas. It is a different place in the time stream, where Anna washes him of his sins and he becomes Comstock. This theory is in no way completely solid, and I'm sure there are gaps in my theory, and I'd be glad to hear them. Maybe I can fill them, or maybe there's a big flaw I'm not seeing that busts the entire thing, wide open. But I'm entirely open to criticism, and I'm only really looking to further understand the work and to help others do the same. Thanks for watching. This has been a video by Sigbrand, and the review for Bioshock Infinite should be along soon.